Hi, welcome back to Steve's Shows, and we're now going to have a look at the JV002 brushless 40 volt XGT jigsaw. The jigsaw has a high power, constant speed motor. The machine also has a high effective cutting capacity. So the JV002 GZ has a on-off button on the top, a trigger with a lock-on function, a variable speed by the dial. We then have our 3 orbital settings at the bottom. It has dust extraction, which can be put to the left or the right, and it is a toolless blade change on the system. So that is the JV002 GZ from Makita. Now let's take a look at the LS0816F 110 to 240 volt slide compound miter saw from Makita. So the blade diameter on this machine is 216 millimeters, which gives us a depth of cut of 65 mil, and then across the board cut with the slide compound on there of 305 millimeters. We then have a bevel which will go over 47 to the left and then 2 degrees to the right, and it will allow us to mitre 47 degrees to the left and the right. We have our job light on the top of the machine. You can adjust the depth of cut as well, so if you wanted to do trenching cuts, you have that facility on the side of the machine there. We've got an extendable base, and on the back of the machine we do have a nice little area here where we can wrap the cable up for nice storage. So that is the LS0816F, available in 110 and 240 on the Makita platform. So the XGT pressure washer is the HW001GZ. You get in the box with the machine is 2 different types of nozzles. So you get your high pressure nozzle as well as your variable adjustable nozzle plants in the box. You also get a pump, so that connects to your water tap. We then have our water feed, so if you are doing it self-primed off of a water butt or a water container, you can connect that to the front of the machine. We then have our battery compartment, which houses 2 40 volt XGT batteries. Now this is only a 40 volt machine, so it will only run off one of the batteries at a time. There is 2 there for the runtime. At the front of the machine, we then have a large on-off button, as well as our mode selector. So the other feature on this is at the back, we have a large storage container for all our different parts that we have. So that is the HW001GZ 40 volt max brushless pressure washer from Makita. So this is the DG001GZ 40 volt XGT brushless earth auger from Makita. Features a 13mm 3-jaw chuck, which you can put the different adapters in. Now these are included in the box, so depending on what augers you're using, one is cylindrical and one is a toothed version, but they are both included in the box with purchase. Back of the machine we have our chuck key holder, which houses our chuck key, which is nice and handy to have at all times. We then have a large front handle on the front of the machine, so when you are using it, you can get it nice and ergonomical to your body so that it is comfortable when using for long periods of time. We then have a large top handle on the top, as well as the sidebar, which is there mainly to keep it steady against the body of the machine. So the machine is quite easy to use. All you have is a forward and reverse on the switch, and then a lock-off function in the center. The trigger itself is variable speed. On the top, we have our large on-off button, which has an LED indicator so you know that the machine is active. So on the bottom of the machine, we have our 2-speed gearbox. In speed 1, it will allow us to go up to 400 RPMs and deliver 136 Newton meters of torque. And in speed 2, it will allow us to go up to 1,500 RPMs and deliver 55 Newton meters of torque. That all helps with the max drilling capacity of this machine, going up to a massive 200 millimeters into the earth. So this is the DG001GZ 40 volt XGT brushless earth auger from Makita. So this is the AC001GZ air compressor on the 40 volt XGT platform from Makita. So the AC001GZ air compressor has a 7.6 litre tank, which will deliver 34 litres a minute and will give you an operating range from 7.2 up to 9.3 bars of pressure. In itself is quite simple to use. As you can see on the back, we have our battery holder, so where we put our XGT batteries. We then have a large on-off switch. We then have our gauge for the tank, as well as the gauge for the tool that we're using. So that will always be the pressure that's in the tank. We can then adjust that to whatever it delivers to the tool that we're being used. So depending on the bar of pressure required, we can adjust it accordingly. We then have an outlet valve that goes to the tool we're using, as well as a drain off valve at the bottom. So when we have finished using the tool, we can drain off the excess air so that it won't damage the tank when being transported. So that was the AC001GZ 40 volt XGT compressor from Makita.